Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat?
Riddler and Two-Face can make a pretty lethal combination. Train me, let me be your partner.
Who's your tailor?
But first, let's meet our contestants.
Going down.
If the bat wants to play, we'll play.
Was that over the top?
Don't work too late.
You forgot the part where you kiss the girl.
The real game begins.
Courage now. Truth always. Batman forever.
Hey YouTubers, Hankster's back with another movie review, and of course this is part 3 of our Batman movie review marathon. And of course for number 3 we're going for the third Batman movie, Batman Forever. Now of course a lot of change-ups happened between 1991 and 1995. Tim Burton of course left the position of director and became one of the movie's producers, and to replace him he was replaced by Joel Shoemacker. And with the departure of Tim Burton as director, Michael Keaton of course did not return as Batman, even though the actors who played both Alfred and Commissioner Gordon returned from their appearances in the first 2 movies. The movie also features Chris O'Donnell as Robin, Jim Carrey as the Riddler, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and Nicole Kidman as Dr. Chase, Meridian. What I gotta say here was, of course, I gotta say that even though Tim Burton was not the director for this movie, his influence, I still say his influence was still greatly shown through a good portion of the movie. I gotta say this is more of a transitional movie between the 2 directors. There was mostly a lot of Tim Burton obviously in it, but Joel Schumacher obviously threw in his 2 cents worth for the bulk of the movie. A lot of people, of course, say this was sort of the beginning of the downfall of the Batman movies at this time. I really don't think so. I think this was still doing pretty good. A lot of people do, people said that about Superman 3, and they still went and made a Superman 4, and that was a lot worse. And basically history repeated itself. They still did a pretty good movie, being with the directorial change and everything, but just pretty much almost what the same happened to Superman. Everything changed. A lot of people were disappointed, but I basically wasn't disappointed. Once again, they stick to the formula of finding actors who fit the roles. Val Kilmer was pretty good as Batman. Not maybe not on par with Michael Keaton, but for this movie he was good in it. Definitely a lot better than his follow-up, George Clooney. We'll get to George Clooney in the next review. The movie also features, of course, appearances by Drew Barrymore and another actress. I keep forgetting her name, but ironically, she has ties to the second movie, being that she used to be the girlfriend of Paul Rubens, who, of course, played Penguin's dad in the second movie. And of course Drew Barrymore had connections with Chris O'Donnell. She of course co-starred with Chris O'Donnell in a movie that came out around the same time. It was more laid back romantic movie that came out around that time. So a lot of people connections to this movie, but still turned out very good in my opinion. Special effects were hyped up. Well, you know, it was more colorful, a lot more background sets and everything were more bigger, gigantic. You had a lot of big statues, which looked pretty cool. Made more of, not to say gothic, but more, you know, industrial, more, you know, but in the sense of an artistic twist with all the giant statues and everything, which I liked. You know, the Batmobile was, of course, revamped for this thing, and I think it's not just, you know, obviously, oh, we got a new director and everything, because, you know, what happened? Look what happened to the Batmobile in the last movie. The Penguin pretty much wrecked it, and so, you know, they had to have it rebuilt for the new movie. So obviously it turns into this. Of course, Batman still wore the original suit until the, you know, he had to wear the prototype at the end. So he wears the original Batman suit from the first two movies, and then when the Batcave gets blown up, he switches to the prototype. So that's, you know, obviously they give you reasons why they had the change. They just don't automatically change everything just because director. They give you a good backstory of why, you know, why is Batman wearing this different outfit and all, and all. I have to say, and I gotta say, obviously, Jim Carrey. Great choice to play in the Riddler. Obviously, it is interesting that most of the these big movies, at this time period, always associated with the color green. You had The Mask, which came before this, another superhero movie, and, you know, and The Mask was a sort of a green superhero. The Riddler wore green, and then a few years later with the Grinch, he was green. So that's an interesting tie-in there. But his over-the-top antics, perfect for this role. He is sort of Hawkins back to, you know, Frank Gorshin from the original Batman live-action series. But sort of that maniacal genius type thing, as opposed to, like, you know, like the Joker or anything like that. Tommy Lee Jones, yeah, I do kind of wish that they did stick with Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, of course, will later become Two-Face. Would have been interesting to see how that actor would portray the role, but they didn't mess up totally when they switched to Tommy Lee Jones. He did a great job playing Two-Face. Carrying on a role with a guy with two personalities kind of smushed into each other, the obsession with the coin thing and all that, and even going as far as having two girlfriends. Don't us normal thinking people want to have two girlfriends, or for you girls' case, two boyfriends. But you know, it's pretty good there. Chris O'Donnell played a pretty good Robin. It's not like this, holy shit, Batman! You know, he's you know, it's a guy who had his own obsessions. Basically, this movie kind of dwelt with obsessions, and you know, most of the characters had obsessions. You know, the Riddler, even before he became the Riddler, had an obsession with Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne had an obsession with, you know, contemplating should he stay Batman or not. The Dr. Chase Meridian, she had an obsession with Batman. Dick Grayson, of course, had an obsession of getting revenge on Two-Face for killing his parents. So pretty much everybody, of course, Two-Face had an obsession of killing Batman. So everybody in this movie, you know, basically dealt with most of the big characters in this movie have an obsession that drives them on to this movie, and you know that, you know, pretty much that was. You know, some of them was pretty good. Some of them need to be controlled. Some of them say, what the fuck's going on here? But I have to say, this is one of my favorite Batman movies next to the first one. And, of course, Batman Begins. But, of course, I have to agree to, you know, right after this movie, the series kind of briefly goes down the toilet with Batman and Robin, and of course I will have to do a review on that on the next video. Of course, it's Batman and Robin, once again directed by Joel Shoemaker, and then coming in the worst person you would ever ask to have play Batman, George Clooney. And my reason is why I have to agree with everybody that this was the worst of the whole lot of the Batman movie franchise. So stay tuned here for more Batman movie reviews and Bat Whatnot here on the Multiverse. See ya.